Yeah, we'll start. Okay. Let me copy some few sample files. D- Let me upload some few sample files. Okay. Product code, product name. These are my files. Let me upload the files. Tables. So this is my requirement. My inbound contains a number of files. My inbound contains a number of files. Right. So basically, I have to do the data ingestion from source to my target location. Just I want to do the only data ingestion. So here I'm not talking about the transformation. Just as maybe you have that five files, right? Five different files like EMP, product, customer, department, and vendor files. Okay, vendor files. But shall I create five notebooks to do the data processing from five files? Only here I am doing the only data ingestion. I'm not doing any additional transformation. Just I want to take the data from this EMP and I want to write the data into my target location. The same way, take the data from the product, write the data into the target location. The same way to vendor also. So here I'm not performing the transformation. That overall the logic is right only the data ingestion. Right? Why should I create the five notebooks? Right? Because we have the five files. Right? Should I create the five notebooks? All right. From the five notebooks, shall I give that whole hard code value emp underscore start.csv, product underscore start.csv, customer underscore start.csv? Because if I'm reading the data from the especially any source files, then I have to use the dot load and the file path details, right? File path details. But at any cost, I have to use that EMP product customer DEPT vendor information, right? No, I don't want to create five notebooks. Moreover, I don't want to give the any hard code. At this stage, only five files. Maybe down the line, it may add 10 more files, maybe 50 more files I will add. So I don't want to create the notebook for each and every file system. I want to create one generic solution. The generic solution should take the data from five different files as a source and five different targets. Right? I should load the data. I should save the data into my five different target path details. The source path is same, but target path is different. Each and every object wise, I want to write the data into my target location. I want to write the data into my target location. But how can I create the generic solution? How can I create the generic solution? The step one, right here, the process n number of files to n number of targets, n number of files to, n number of target locations, right? N number of files to n number of target location. But how can I create one generic solution? Right? How can I create one generic solution to do the data processing from multiple files to multiple target location? Right? The step one, let me go and create my widgets. dbutils dot widgets dot text source file path details. Source file path details. The same way, I will create my target file location. So this is my source directory inbound. So this is my target directory file outbound. Outbound directory. File outbound directory. Let me extract the data from these two widgets. All right. Source path equal to dbutils widgets dot get. I have created two variables. All right. Source file path, target file path. Right. So this is my source path details. So this is my target path details. Outbound. Yeah. I have to read the data from here. I have to write the data to here. All right. Now I have created the widgets. I have created the widgets for source location, target location. The source file path, anyway, I will get it from data factory. The target path details also, I will get it from the data factory. I don't want to give that hard code from my notebook, right? I want to get these values from data factory. Maybe these two values, right? I will get it from maybe Azure SQL DB lookup table, or maybe at data factory side it could be hard code, or I'm getting from some XYZ process. That XYZ process could be lookup information, right? Lookup information. Maybe here I'm storing these information that inbound direct, I mean outbound direct details into the one of the Azure SQL DB. From that Azure SQL DB, I have executed lookup. From that lookup, I'm extracting that values, right? Those values I'm sending from my base parameters from ADF, especially in the notebook settings. So what is that next? What is that next? Because I don't know how many files are available. I don't know how many files are available, but we are sure, right? N number of files, right? N number of files means EMP. It will available only once, not more than once. Product also only one file. Customer also one file. Customer it will not repeat more than once. Customer it will not repeat more than once. EMP it will not repeat more than once. At any cost, only one file is available inside the file bound directory for each and every object. For each object, only one file. But the step one, I want to see the how many files are available inside this file bound directory. How can I see? DB utils dot fs dot ls, right? We can use that ls command, right? We can use that ls command, right? We can use this source path variable. Let me go and execute. Now you're able to see that n number of files, right? You're able to see that n number of files. This file location, right? This file, I mean, this is my source file path. I have to read the data from this path for customer. All right. The second element EMP. The third element is that product. The third element is that product. If I'm executing that ls command, that output is equivalent to which data type, which collection? It is a list collection, right? Which is a list collection. So shall I take one variable, right? Till I take one variable, list files equal to type of list underscore files. No, right? My data type is equivalent to list. I can execute my iterator for loop inside the, especially the list files, right? I can execute that for loop. If I'm executing the for loop, if I'm executing the, alright, if I'm executing that for loop, especially on the list file, right, it will display one by one, right? Print f, right? It will display the one by one information, right? It will display the basically three information, right? Three elements, because I have the three files are available, right? Three files are available. Three files are available in my target, right? Let me execute a range 0 comma length of function, right? Length function, right? Okay. So what is our next requirement? My next requirement, right? My next requirement, just I want to extract only the path. I'm extracting only the path details. I want to see that only the name information. right? File path and file name information. File path and file name information. File path and the file name information. What is the next requirement? Yes, I want to take this as a EMP, right? As a EMP. As a EMP, I want to as a input path. This is also my input path. This is also my input path. So I can use spark.read.format, the CSV, header equal to information is equal to true or false, dot load. So shall I use list files of f of path? If I'm using right, directly I'm reading the data from this file in that loop. I'm reading the data from this file in that loop. I'm reading the data from this file in that loop. Alright. For example, df equal to spark dot read dot format CSV dot option header equal to true dot load. I'm not taking any inferential scheme. What is the dot load option? I can use this location right. Correct. I can use this location. Alright. Print df dot count. df dot count. Let me use this option. Alright, let me execute. Alright. Customer files count is 3 records. Correct. EMP files count 3 records. Product description count also 3 records. Right. What is our next requirement? Our next requirement, right? I want to write the data, right? I want to write the data into my target location. So where is the target location? Because your target location, this is only inside the file bound, right? Inside the file bound. But inside the file bound, I want to create EMP folder. I want to create a product underscore description. I want to create a EMP folder, customer EMP product underscore description. 3 folders I have to create, right? 3 folders I have to create. But your current folder, right? Your current folder outbound only inside the file outbound. But inside the file outbound EMP folder, inside the file outbound customer, right? Product description, right? So that is my requirement. I want to create each and every object folder inside the file outbound location. File outbound location. That is my target location. That is my target location. Correct. That is my
So
target.
no need to create 3 different data frames in this case. It's not necessary.
Not necessary, right? Because we should come up with a dynamic, right?
I mean, so in that case, there is. I mean, just trying to understand. We can load multiple files into single data frame.
Multiple files into
Single data frame. We can do that in that
no,
case,
right?
right?
It's not possible, right? Because EMP separate, product is separate. How you will create a one data frame?
No, but inside a loop, we are assigning everything to DF only, right? We declared only.
It will execute one by one, right, Suresh?
Yeah, it is
First, it will.
executing one by one, but again assigning to same DF, right?
Okay, yeah, that is okay, no problem. Because
That's
anyway,
what I'm trying to
right,
understand.
that
Yeah.
is no problem because we are executing the next write operation also, right? Immediate.
Okay.
Correct. This I'm
Okay.
executing one by one. After print, I will use the write operation. Once reading, writing both completed, right?
Okay. That means again the DF is available
Correct.
after action.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, then
Okay.
it will replace, right? For example, next if I'm using traction, my
Yeah, that's what I'm
entire
trying to
process.
understand. Okay.
Correct.
The moment we do action, the DF is available for next
Correct.
set of things.
Correct.
Okay.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Now this is clear, right? The three steps.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What's the next activity? The next activity, I have to write the data, right? I have to, but I don't want to write the data into only file bound. Inside the file bound, I want to create the three objects like customer, EMP, and product description. But how can I create? Because I don't have any clue about the number of object names, right? Right. So what is the hint? Customer I want to create, EMP I want to create, a product underscore description I want to create. Right. Product description I want to create. For example, let me go and create one dummy code. Right. File name equal to. So this is my object. This is my object. So what is your requirement? In my requirement, if I'm using the replace logic, file name dot replace, file name dot replace dot csv. Now I'm getting customer underscore date value, right? Customer underscore some date value I'm getting. But what is our next requirement? The next requirement, right? Let me replace this underscore 20210420. Right? Let me try with dot replace. Yeah. Because it is not acted as a regular expressions, right? These are not acted as a regular expressions. But how can I remove these two things? Because just I'm using the replace function 0 to 9, right? Replace function 0 to 9. Because there is no pattern operator inside the this replace functions, right? Inside the this replace function. So we have to use the regular expressions, right? We have to use the regular expressions. Import RE, right? Import RE, right? Import RE. Let me remove RE data. Your pattern and your replace and your string, right? Replace and string. What is your pattern? 0 to 9, right? Let me use 0 to 9. I want to replace with the blank. Right? What is my object name? File name. Right. I'm seeing customer underscore dot csv, right? Customer underscore dot csv. Customer underscore dot csv. I'm seeing right here. Let me use underscore dot csv. Let me create one more variable otherwise. Customer underscore dot csv. I'm taking right. Let me use another example product dot description. Alright, here I'm seeing underscore, maybe the file name is wrong, dot csv, right? Underscore dot csv. I have to replace. Have to replace. But I have to replace inside my target. Let me create one variable. Let me create one more dot substitution function. obj name equal to obj name. Right, I'm getting prod underscore CSV, right? Product underscore CSV. Right, product underscore description underscore. Okay. So this logic I have to include in my process. I have to include this my process. So this is my folder name details, right? This is my folder name details. Let me copy Control X, Control C. Let me remove this count details also. What is our next step for df dot write, sorry, write format CSV. Let me use that mode also. Mode. Let me use that overwrite operation. Just assume your files always truncate and load. Dot option header equal to true. Header equal to true. Then you want to write the data right into this path TGT path as object name plus object name plus object name. Let me remove this file name. The file name equal to list of files. F dot right F dot. So this is my file name details I'm creating into the one object name. I mean one variable name equal to file name. Here I'm doing that logic. Let me go and check inside the my target location. File store, tables, file outbound, three folders, customer underscore, or EMP underscore, product description underscore, customer underscore, EMP underscore, product description underscore. Right. In case if you want to remove, no EMP customer product description. Right. Let me remove unwanted files dbutils.fs.rm. These three folders are available. Right. These three folders are available. Clear, read this logic to read the data from multiple files to write the data to multiple targets. Like in especially in ADF, get metadata, right? So basically we're taking the get metadata. From that get metadata, we are taking the each and every file and writing the data into the target location. So this is kind of your set variable, right? Kind of your set variable. You're taking the your target location details, right? Here inside the your data set, you're creating the folder plus your target path details. Any doubts? This is only for data engine. Here I'm not talking about transformation. Just to, I want to read the data and to write the data into my target location. Here I'm not performing any transformations. Any doubts?
Bro, we should add plus symbol only to add folder.
Sorry,
We should not.
concatenation, right?
Ah, yeah. Okay.
This is Python programming, right? This is concatenation,
No.
right?
Okay. Okay.
So talking about this one, right?
Yes. Yes.
This is concatenation, right? In the Python,
Okay. Bro, we should not use slash anything.
already slash is there, right? Inside here, already slash is there, right?
Okay. Got it.
Already slash is there, right? This is concatenation, right? In the Python, the string concatenation, right?
So I didn't see the slash in oh,
Okay. Any doubts? Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. Inside, correct. Inside the folder, so sorry, unwanted. Right. So this is the default behavior of the Spark. By default, it will create these four different types of files. The part files could be n number of depends on your partitions. Right. These three files are. It will create the default underscore success underscore completed underscore started. Correct. Right. Depends. Right. I mean, it will create default. If you want, you can remove. Right. If you want, you can remove. Right. If you want, you can remove. This you will see the n number of files. Right. This part files, right? So by default, you will create the four different types of files. Okay, underscore success, underscore committed, underscore started, part n number of files. Okay, if you want, you can remove these three files also. We can remove. If you want to rename this part file also, we can rename. Depends on the requirement. Maybe in your requirement, I don't want to rename, right? Just I want to create a number of part files. Go and create a number of part files. Yes, only I want to see the part files. I want to remove these three files. Means yes, we should come up with the logic to eliminate that is on our next requirement. We'll delete these three files and we'll rename. Last time we did refresh, if I'm not wrong. The last class we did right one by one.
yes. Yes.
Right, underscore success we removed, underscore committed started part we did rename, right? Individual we did, that is we can include in the logic also. Yeah, we can include, but the part files that is not in your control, that is the default. If you want, right, you can create your own name with timestamp up to your wish. If your folder also, yes, you want to create some timestamp, yes, you can create. You can create with the help of the date functions. Possible. I mean, yes, I want to create inside the file pond customer plus year wise, month wise, day wise folders I want to create Inside that, I want to create the data, right? That is your requirement, right? Yes, we can do. We can. That is also we can do. Any doubts in this logic? Okay. For example, in this folder, maybe I have the requirement. I don't want to process all the files. Correct. I don't want to process all the files. I want to process only the set of files. Here there is no logic to control the files, right? Uday, right? Just simply I'm reading the data from this file path, reading the data from this file path, and writing the data. All right, writing the data. Right. But by requirement, all right, the file inbound. So there are just a couple of files. Inside the couple of files, I want to process only the customer and EMP. I don't want to process product underscore description and a few other files. Few other files I don't want to process. But it's very complicated, right? Because just I'm reading that all the files from this list of files, right? All the files from this list of files, right? All the files from this list. Moreover, yeah, the requirement, right? That EMP could be multiple. The customer also could be multiple. I want to process all the files, right? I want to process that all the files at a time. EMP underscore 23, 24, 25. Three files are available. These three files I have to consolidate, I have to write the data into the target system. But in the current example, if I'm having that EMP three times I'm writing the data into my target location. The third time, the third file only it will available inside the same folder because I'm using that overwrite operation. So then this logic is wrong, right? This logic is wrong because I'm doing that overwrite, right? I'm doing that overwrite. If I'm including that append operation, if I'm including that append operation, definitely I may not lose the data. But again, EMP three times I'm reading, EMP three times I'm writing. Unnecessarily, I'm increasing my runtime, right? Unnecessarily, I'm increasing my runtime because three files are same structure. Three files are same structure. So why should I read three times, right? Why should I read three times? So can't we read only once? Can't we write the data to target only once for EMP object? For EMP object. Moreover, don't consider all the files from your source path details. Source path details. But how can we handle? Right? How can we handle? Then we should ask our users, right? We should ask our users which files you're going to upload inside the your source location, right? Could you please maintain one log file? Could you please maintain one log file? Right? We'll consider the log file. Okay, today, right? These many objects we are going to read from this path. The path could be anything, right? The path could be anything. For example, maybe in this requirement, there are multiple inbound directories from the source side. All right, maybe in your data lake, there are multiple locations. Multiple locations are available. Just as the multiple locations are available. Right from that multiple locations, I want to read the data. Then I want to write the data to my target location. I don't want to create a multiple notebooks. I want to create only one notebook. I want to come up with one generic solution. Right? I want to come up with one generic solutions. Right? I want to come up with one generic solution. Then we should go and create a right file path and file file path and file name. We'll go and create one intermediate file, lookup file, intermediate file and lookup file. This intermediate file contains all your file path details plus your file name details. File path and your file name details. Right, what is my file path? Yeah, just as only right, file bound directory. Sorry, EMP. Alright, I want to process only these four files. EMP could be single file or EMP could be a number of files. Custom also could be single file and number of files. Product also could be single file and number of files. Sales underscore inventory could be one file or multiple files. Right. Let me go and create. This is my file lookup. Right. This is my file lookup. Right. File lookup. Let me go and create one inventory file. Right. Invoice ID. EMP customer, product, sales inventory, product, sales inventory. Alright, what is the alternative? Right, we should import, right, we should import inside the file inbound, right, inside the file inbound. Alright, now let me so reading source file details from that look file. So what is the requirement? I don't want to consider especially this list command. I don't want to read all the files. I don't want to read that all the files. Here we should use some try exception handling concept. For example, in this example, maybe here source path is correct inbound one, correct inbound one. Right, here process will fail, right? File store tables, file inbound. And then here we have to use the some try exception handling concept. Right, source bound path is not exist, not processing source files. Please check source path details. Alright, we should include because here I'm using that ls command. This ls command, if the folder is available, then only it will process. The folder is not available, it will raise an exception, right? It will raise an exception. I don't want to make out my data processing failure, right? Just I want to see this message, right? This message, if you really wants to, right? Really, if you wants to make the process failure, right? Process failure, then you can see your error message. You can make out your notebook failure, right? Java file not bound. If you want to make out, you can, right? Source inbound path is not exist, not processing. But this is my error message because I'm using the raise exception. If you want, you can make out your notebook failure, right? Then I'm using the raise exception. If I'm including this raise exception, right, your notebook will fail. Right? The print e message, I want to see that error details. Right? In case if you don't want, just comment. Right? This is your error message and occurred while calling fs.utilities. This is the error message. This is your print statement. Right? If you want to see your error message, print e. Right? Raise exception means if you want, you can make out your program failure. All right. Your wish depends on your requirement. It depends on your requirement. For example, you're executing this notebook from the data factory. If you're using the try except, right? If you're not using the raise exception, your notebook always will success, right? If the folder is not available, so still it will success. But in your requirement, you want to make out your notebook failure, right? Then we'll use the raise exception. We'll use the raise exception. If you want to see that error message, you can use the print E if you want. Inside your inside your notebook, you want to see that message, right? You will see that print E. This raise exception, right? If you want to make out your failures. So why am using try except? Because this folder, in case if the folder is not available, right? If the folder is not available, the program will failure, right? Yes, I want to make out failure, right? With the help of the exception handling concept. Now, this message will be displayed. Blindly, we can confirm, okay, the folder inbound is not available. Someone has deleted maybe, right, while doing the reprocessing from the source, they're renamed, right? If you want to, you can make out raise exception. If you want to see that error message, print it. So this is your user defined error message. Clear, right? Why I'm using the try except? Okay. Next, the next, I want to read the source file details from that lookup. I want to read the content, right? I want to read the content. From the content, I want to take the my source path and file name details. Source path and file name details. All right, source path and the file name details. But how can I read the your lookup file? Your lookup file is always constant, right? Your lookup file is always constant. Just assume your lookup file is always constant. Your lookup file is always a constant. Right. If you want to read the data, right, spark dot read dot format CSV option header equal to true dot load dot load. So this is I'm creating df underscore lookup df underscore lookup display sorry display df underscore lookup. Now I'm reading the data from my lookup. What is your next requirement? Next requirement? Yes, I want to do the data processing for these 4 different files. Now your data is available in your data frame, right? Now your data is available in your data frame. But from this data frame, I want to extract a row by row, right? I want to extract a row by row information. But how can I extract a row by row information? This data output, right? This data output I have to save into that array, right? But which command will help out? Right, from the data frame I want to extract that output, right? I want to extract that content from that lookup, that content, right? On top of it I want to create one array that's called list, right? But how can I create the list on top of it your output, right? We'll use that collect function, right? The collect function will help out, right? The collect function will help out, right? The collect function lkp underscore data, right? Lkp underscore data will help out, right? Lkp underscore data. Now the data is available, right? Now the data is available in the list, right? On top of it, we can execute the for loop, right? Iterator, right? Basically, for I in lkp underscore range 0 comma length of your lkp underscore data. Print lkp underscore data of I. Right. Now you're able to see that file path and file name details. If I want to see that file path, I can use the zero, right? I can use the zero details, but it is giving that only the file path details. But if I'm using that one, it will give that only the file name details, EMP customer product sales underscore inventory, right? Sales underscore inventory. Now df underscore src equal to spark dot read dot format csv dot option header equal to true dot load. Right. This is my source path, right? This is my source path details. This is my source path details. Right. Let me check source path details. Next, I will use, this is my file name, right? This is my file name details, right? Some start.csv, right? Start.csv, right? I'm doing the concatenation, right? The first one is the path details, right? First one is the path details. Second one is your file name details. Third one is your start.csv. Third one is your start.csv. If I'm using this logic, if I'm using this logic, right? For EMP file, right? For EMP file, right, what it will do? It is taking, right? Start. Yet, if I'm executing this logic, right? If I'm executing this logic for EMP file, for EMP file, this is my output, right? Right, Suresh? if0 equal to your till inbound slash if1 equivalent to your EMP. The third parameter is your start.csv. The third parameter is your start.csv. Right. The third parameter is your start.csv. The start.csv. Next, I want to write the data, right? I want to write the data. I want to write the data into my target location. df underscore source dot write operation dot format option header equal to true. Dot save. Dot save. All right. What is my target location? Right. What is my target location? So the target location, right? The target location always it is a target path equal to. But timing I'm giving that hard code. I'm not creating any widgets. All right. All right. Inventory outbound. Let me use this T path plus this object. Inside that inventory outbound, I will create four files. I will create four files. Why I'm using the start.csv? Right. Because I don't know the exact file name. Only that emp I know. All right. Emp underscore the date. All right. Emp because I don't want to give that hard code. More or emp multiple files also available. Right. The multiple files I want to use with the help of the start.csv. Right. With the help of the start.csv. But if you want, you can display in the print statement also. What is the print statement? Just you want to ensure which files you are processing, right? Which files you are processing. EMP data processing for. Alright, if you want, you can ensure which file is processing, right? Which file is processing. Alright. If you want, you can include this entire process in the try except also. Alright, if you want, you can include this entire process into the try except. Alright, if you want, you can include that in case this process is failure, right? Right. So this also can include, you can include, if you want, you can come up with multiple exception handling concept. Each and every process you can, right here, definitely this process will failure. Here also, definitely the process will failure, right? I mean, here, in case if the file folder is not available, it will failure, right? Here, this process it will not fail because this is a hardcode value, right? Here, yes, while reading the data, all right, it may failure. While writing the data also, it may failure. That's why I'm using this print message here. Let me go and execute. Four files were created. Four files were created. file store, tables, for files, customer, AMP, product, sales inventory, sales inventory. So this is from lookup. This is from your lookup file. This is from your lookup file. Clear, right? Any doubts? Others, any doubts?
No, sir.
If notebook has failed due to lookup file folder is not available. You can add proper exception handling concept also. If you want, you can make out failure also, right? You can make out your failure also. So this is from lookup file. This is from the lookup file. This is from our lookup file. What is the next requirement? Right. The next requirement. The next requirement. No, I don't want to see this underscore success underscore committed underscore started files. I don't want to see. Right. I want to see that part file. Forget about the rename. Just I want to see that only data file. I don't want to see that underscore success underscore committed. All right. Underscore started files. Underscore started files. Right. dbutils dot fs dot ls. Right. Let me use a display option. That these four files are available, right? These four files are available. No, I don't want to see these four files into my target location. I want to see that only the data file. This is important, right? The rest of the files I don't want to see. The rest of the files I don't want to see. Right? The rest of the files I don't want to see. Right? Let me create log files equal to for L in log files. Let me use 0 comma right. I'm getting the path details as well. I'm getting that name, right? I'm getting the name. Let me use dot name. Right. If you observe these four files, right? So these three files are having the one common pattern. It start with underscore, right? Right? It start with underscore. These out of four files, the first three files are start with underscore, right? The first three files are start with underscore. All right. Shall I use some if condition if my file name, right? Right. If my file name dot starts with underscore. Right. Now I'm able to see only three files, right? I'm not able to see the underscore part, right? Right? Underscore part. Let me use the complete path details. So shall I take this path with file name to delete that file? We can use, right? Means which command we have to use? db utils dot fs dot rm command, right? Let me go and check which file. Sales, right? Are you able to see the files? No, right? You're not able to see the files. Shall I use this logic to delete that files? Or we can use, right, this logic, copy that after writing, sorry, but here, for individual file, it will read, it will process, it will delete that unwanted files, right? Correct. It will do that unwanted files. So it will delete that. Here, otherwise, we can create one, use a different function also. This entire logic, I can create one, use the different. Currently, I'm not creating any user different function. Just I am using these 4 lines of the code to eliminate that files. No hard coded, right? There is no hard coded. Okay. Dot mode. Let, let me go and check these 4 folders. Whether do we have underscore success, underscore status, underscore computer files are available. Customer. I'm not able to see other files, right? EMP. Only part files. Product. Only part file. Sales. Only the part file. Correct. Only sales file. But only the sales files I'm able to see. Clear, right? Now I'm not able to see other files. So with the help of this logic, I'm reading the data from multiple files into multiple targets. Plus, I'm removing that unwanted files also. There is no hard coded, right? Everything is dynamic, right? Right. Here you can add a number of files. Which files you want to process? Just you should add those information into that file lookup. If that EMP multiple files it will read because I'm using the start.csv. I'm using the start.csv. Here you can process multiple files into the single target, right? EMP underscore 1234 into the single EMP. Product underscore start.csv means multiple product files into single product table here. Any doubts? The logic wise, any doubts? Kiran, any doubts?
No.
At last, first except in the if command, we return starts with underscore. So the files which is starts with underscore will delete, right?
Correct.
But if we give path, all files will remove, right?
Sorry.
Path.
So this path is right. This path contains file path plus file name, right?
File path, yes.
Right.
But that contains actually part file also.
Why? First of
Uh,
all, have you observed the output? See,
okay. And the name contains part. Okay.
right. I don't get confused with this is path. This path means so this is the default name, right? Not created by you or me, right? This is the default name, right?
Mm.
While creating the list, right? This is the header name, right? Underscore success here. File name is underscore success. This path means path plus file name.
Okay. Okay. Path. Okay.
Clear, right? In case if it is not giving, then we should concatenate, right? For example, maybe if the spark is path means only till here, right? Till here, then we should concatenate path plus name to remove that file, right?
Mm.
But fortunately, the path is equivalent to your file path plus file name. Any doubts?
No.
So why am I using the overwrite operation? Because every time the folder is the same, right? If I'm not using overwrite, it will fail. Either I have to use overwrite or append because my target path always constant. Because this is always I'm doing that full refresh, right? I'm doing always full refresh from the source. That's why I'm using that overwrite operation. Either I have to use mode, append or overwrite. If I'm not using these two operations, then at any cost, every time each and every execution object, you should create the new path details. Otherwise, your process will fail. Otherwise, your process will fail.
Bro, that lookup file everyday business want to mention, right? Names which
Correct.
they want to
Correct.
process.
Correct. So this is one type of requirement, right? This is one kind
Yeah.
of requirement. Maybe only these files will process. Any doubts? Okay. If you don't have any doubts, we'll discuss one more concept, upset logic. So this is very important, upset logic. Let me create one proper EMP file, employee code, employee salary information, 101, 9,000. Okay, so this is my EMP file. So this is my input file. This is my input file. Okay. Spark dot read dot format csv dot option header equal to true dot load. Okay. Now I'm doing the hardcore timing. Okay. So right now I'm creating df underscore source equal to correct df underscore source. Display df underscore src. Display df underscore src. Right. Three records are available. Right. Three records are available. Next, I want to write the data into my target location. I want to write the data into my target location. I want to write the data into my target location. But this is not full refresh. This is always delta files. But each and every day, I will get only new records plus changed records. Every day I'm not extracting complete full files, not complete full files. Every day I will extract only the delta records. Maybe today I will extract 3 records, tomorrow 2 records, day after tomorrow 10 records or 15 records. Always combination of new plus modified records. Now I'm extracting Kiran records, Uday record, Jiga record, right? Tomorrow may or may not extract these 3 records. But means if I'm not extracting these 3 records tomorrow means there is no change on their salary. If I'm extracting Uday record tomorrow means his salary has been changed, right? If it is changing, right? If it is changing, I want to get the latest data into my target location. If I'm not getting Kiran and Jega record tomorrow, right? There is no change. But my target should not lose this record, right? My target should not drop this record, right? Let me use write operation, right? Simply I'm using the write operation. src dot write dot save operation. Let me go and create the new folder. Let me go and write the data. Time, let me go and write the data to here. Okay. Let me read the data. Okay. Let me read the data. This is my test cases, right? These are my test cases. Yes, once the data is available in the target location, right? In the target location, just I want to see, right? I want to see whether do we have the data in your target location or not. Display df underscore. This is my kind of my testing, right? ECD ename salary, right? ECD ename salary. Source also the same, right? Good. Now both are same. Both are same. Both are having the same data, right? Both are having the same data. Now we can confirm the data is matching, right? Now we can confirm the data is matching. Okay. Now my target is having these three records. Target is having these three records. Source is having these three records, right? So what is the next requirement? The next requirement, right? The next requirement. For example, Kiran salary has been changed. All right. Now let me take Suresh record. I have one new record. I have one change of records. Right. 26. All right. Let me give that hard code timing. Okay. So let me timing. I'm giving the hard code value. Over it. Okay. Let me execute my target location. But what about Jagadish record? What about Uday record? I'm not able to see, right? This is not called upset logic, right? This is not called upset logic. Now your data is equivalent to your source delta files, right? But your data, target data should be equivalent to combination of multiple source delta files active records, right? But what about Uday record? What about Jaga record, right? I'm able to see that only your target location is equivalent to only the latest delta file. But what about yesterday file? What about the last 1 month, right? I'm executing this process. This process has been scheduled almost more than 1 month, right? But what about the 30 days files, right? Because your target data count should be equivalent to source of multiple delta files active records, right? Active records. But I'm not able to see. So this is not called upset logic, right? This is not called upset logic. This is kind of your full refresh, right? This is always you're doing the truncate and load. Always you're doing the truncate and load. But I'm not expecting this process. I'm expecting, right? At any cost, the target should contain 4 records, right? I should see 102, 103, all right? So I'm not seeing 102, 103 record in my target location. Because why you're not seeing? Because you're using that which operation? Overrate operation. Overrate operation. Okay. Let me use append operation. Let me use append operation. Let me use the fifth. Let me use the fifth. Okay. Let me execute. Let me execute my CS source. Okay, 101, 102, 103. All right, let me arrange it. 101, 102, 103. But why you are able to see the current twice? So which is active, which is inactive? Which is active, which is inactive? I don't have any clue, right? But why should I share this inactive records to my downstream systems? Unless they will get confused, right? Unless they will get confused. So they will ask which record you want me to consider, either 9,000 or 19,000. But or you want me to add one date column, The date column, it will talk about timestamp when this record was loaded into the your target location. All right. But they're raising the concern. Okay, if you added one date column, from the date column, I can take which is that maximum group wise employee code group wise. I will take that maximum date. I will take 9,000 or 19,000. If it is active, I will consider. But why should I apply this much of customized logic from my end? I don't want to apply this logic. Can't we handle this logic from our end? So why should I request downstream systems to add the logic? First of all, why should I maintain inactive records in my target location? Already you're maintaining the inactive records into your source path, right? Already the source path is available the two files, 24th file and 25th files. So why should I maintain the duplicate copy into the two places? All right, no use, right? Unnecessarily I'm increasing the space, right? Already one place the duplicates are available, right? The source input path, already I'm having the Kiran record twice, but two different folders. Right. Already I have segregated the data into the two different folders because every day I'm extracting my delta files. But in the target location, because this especially path consumed by my downstream systems, but they are raising their concerns. But you're adding one additional fourth column, your audit column. That audit column, it will talk about the date field. Indirectly you're giving the logic to your downstream system, please implement this logic to get the latest record. But there is a concern, no, I don't want to apply any customized logic, right? Because your downstream systems are raising the statement, we don't want to apply any customized logic to extract the latest feed, right? Extract the latest data feed, right? No, we don't want to. Can you please apply the logic from your end? The downstream system is raising the statement, please maintain only active records. At any cost, I have to see that Kiran only that one record. The record should be the latest one. Right? The record should be the latest one. Simply we'll do the select star from your target path details. Blindly will take that all the records from your project folder. Now here I'm not losing the Kiran Uday record, but problem I'm not losing the Uday Jaga record, but the problem I'm seeing the duplicate. 101 I'm seeing the two records. If the downstream systems are not eliminating the duplicates, definitely the value will be double, right? The value will be double. But how can I handle that upset logic? Overwrite means upset logic only, right? But overwrite means upset or truncate and load. Append means, right? Append means is I will see the duplicates also. If I'm using that overwrite operation, right? If I'm using that overwrite operation, then it is a kind of truncate and load. If I'm using that append, right? If I'm using that append, I will lose the my previous records, right? I will lose that my previous records. But how can we handle? How can we handle the upset logic? Yes, we had implemented upset logic with help of the merge statement. With help of that merge statement. But that data is available in the file system, right? But how can you implement the merge statement? The merge is a combination of update plus insert or insert plus update, right? That is called a merge statement. We are executed a merge statement in Azure SQL DB. But that is a table, right? But this is the file system. So this is a file system. But how can I implement that upset logic, right? How can I implement the upset logic? How can I implement that upset logic system? Right. The step one, you're reading the data. Right. The step two, you're writing the data. Very first time, right? Very first time, reading, writing, right? This is a common. But the second execution, right? The second execution, for example, employee code, employee name, salary. 3,000. This is my source file. This is my source file. This is my target. So very first time I'm reading these two records and writing these two records into the target system. The next day, right? The next day, right? The next day, I have that 103 record. C 9000. Correct. If I'm doing that append operation, so when should I do append operation? At 100 percentage, you will always get only the new records, not change records. If I'm using that append operations, definitely I'll get only one record, right? From the source itself, you're getting that only delta feed, always only the new records, right? You're not getting any change records. Happily, I can use that append operation. But happily, I can use the append operation. So if you're using the append operation, ultimately your target is equivalent to your source of multiple delta files. Append operation. But I'm not only getting new records, right? I'm getting old records also, right? I'm getting the old records. Old records means the changes. If I'm using that append operation, again this record will insert it. Again this will record insert. One at one record is twice, right? One at one record is available twice in your target location. This is called a duplicate, right? This is, then I should not use that append operation. When should you use that append operation? You're 100% sure from the source, from the delta, always you'll get that only the new records, not changed records, right? The blindly I can use the append operation. If you're using the append operation, 100% your multiple delta files equivalent to your single target file. But not only new feed, I'm getting that modified record also. Then I should not use that append operation. I should not use that append operation. Right. If I'm using that overwrite, if I'm using that overwrite, right? If I'm using that overwrite operation, if I'm using that overwrite operation, right? If I'm using the overwrite operation, then I will see that only the last two records. Right? I will see that only the last two records. Because only the problem from second execution onwards, only the problem. For initial execution, right, always your data is equivalent to your source. But the second execution, if I'm using the overwrite, that existing data will be replaced, right? Replaced with only these two records. But what about one or two records? I'm not able to see that one or two record. Then I should not use that overwrite operation also. But which operation? I have that only two modes, either append or overwrite. Otherwise, I should exclude append or overwrite. If I'm excluding the mode operation, the target always create the new path details. But my target always constant. At any cost, I either have to use append or overwrite. Both are having that problem. Both are having that problem. But both are having that problem. But how can I implement this logic? Right? At any cost, my target should be contain only active records. It should not maintain the duplicates. But which mode will use? Overwrite mode. If you're using overwrite mode, how you will, right? How you will capture the previous no change records, right? How you will hold your previous no change records. Overwrite means always truncate and load, right? Overwrite means always truncate and load. But how can I implement the logic, especially upset? Insert else update. Insert else update. Right? Insert means new record insert, old record update, no changed records, no operations. Right? No changes means no operations. Right? I don't want to modify this 102 be 3000 record. Right? 102 be 3000 records. Right? 102 be 3000 records. Right? Which operation we have to use? right? Which operation we have to use. Very first time, I don't have any problem. If you're doing the second execution, right? If you're doing this from second execution onwards, I have that problem, right? For first execution, initial execution, I don't have any problem because ultimately your source data is equivalent to your target. For the second execution means for the new feed, right? For the new feed. For the new feed. Now your second execution, your new feed is only these two records, right? Only these two records, right? Only these two records. Right from second execution onwards, please check your target versus your source. Your target versus your source. Please take the data from the target. Please take the data from your target. From the second execution onwards, please compare your source versus target based on your employee code. Based on your employee code, then implement a left outer join logic. If I'm implementing the left outer join logic from source and the target, left outer join, right? Source and target left outer join. In the where condition, employee code is null. Employee code is null. How many records will extract? All right. Target dot ECD is null. How many records will extract? Only one record, right? Only one record. The one record is, sir, your one record is 103C 9000. Right? 103C 9000. If I'm executing source left outer join target based on employee code equal to employee code where the target employee code is null. Right? Is null means you will extract only the 103 record. This is called your new feed, right? This is called your new feed. If I'm implementing this logic, on my source and target data frame, right? Source and target data frame, then I will get that only the new records. I will get that only the new records. Right? I'll get only the new records. Right? I'll get that only the new records. What about the second one? The second operation. The second operation, right? I will do the same logic vice versa. Target left outer join source. Target left outer join source. The source primary key is null. Alright. Then, for example, same if I'm using the right outer join logic. If I'm using the same right outer join logic. Right. If I'm using the right outer join logic. Which record I will extract? I will get only the 1 or 2 record, right? What ought to be 3000 records. From this output, I will get 101A 5000 records. 101A 5000, 102B 3000. What about changed records? This entire process is right. This entire process is equivalent to no changes, right? No changes. This entire process is equivalent to new records. But what about old record? What about old records? What about old records? Old records means again I have to come up with inner join logic, right? I have to come up with inner join. 101 equal to 101, right? Then the 9000 is the latest feed, right? 9000 is the latest feed. Then I should come up with one more inner join logic. Then if I'm combining these three process, right? These three process, I will get new records. I will get no change records. I will get the modified records. Right, but here, why should I apply the left outer join logic? Because you're 100% sure your source is sending changed records plus new records, right? Changed records plus new records. So blindly, shall I consider my source records a combination of new plus modified? Right? New plus modified. Why should I compare with right? My target location. If I'm doing this logic, right? If I'm doing this logic, right? My change records. Why should I create a new introduce the third indulgent process? Right? Blindly, I will consider my source contain combination of new plus change records. This process plus this process, right? This process, right? Add, right? New records change plus no changes. If I'm executing the no changes, what is my output? Yet my output is 1 not to be 3000. My output is 1 not to be 3000. This is my first process. If I'm including the next record, I'm not losing any data, right? If I'm executing the source data plus this logic records, if I'm combining, then I'm not losing any data. This output I can send to my target with the help of that overwrite operation. Right, with the help of that overwrite operation. If I'm doing that overwrite operation, right, from this output, from this calculated output, if I'm doing that overwrite operation, then I'm not losing any data, right? I'm not losing any data. All right. Happily, I can use that overwrite operation. All right. If I'm executing this process, entire this process, I'm not losing the single record. Now this is called your upset, right? No, this is called your upset. But here we should come up with some logic. We should come up with some logic from second execution onwards. Second execution onwards, I have to introduce this logic target versus source or source versus target, either left outer chain or right outer chain. Then I should mark which records are not modified from source. From source, which records are not modified. Already those records are available in my target, right? I should not drop those records into my target location. Then we should come up with some logic to handle this process. New records plus changed in a blindly, I can take the data from the source. Or this logic I can implement. Then I will create one data frame. This data frame plus this data frame with the help of that union. With the help of that union, happily I can consolidate the data from the source plus the no change or record from the target. If I'm consolidating these two outputs into single output, so this is my final output, right? This final output, I can write the data to my target location. Clear, right? Right.
Yes.
We'll implement this logic in data frame. Right? We'll implement this logic in data frame. But how can I implement this logic? Right? How can I implement this logic? Right? How can I implement this logic? Right. The step one. All right. This is your final, right? This is your final operation. Right. In between, I have to implement the process. In between, I have to implement the process. What kind of process? Right. Will create df underscore src dot create or replace temp view. My source. This is my target. This is target. Correct. This is my target. This is my target. Let me go and execute. Right. Let me go and execute. Right. Now percentage SQL, select star from SRC. Right, 101, 104. Right, 101, 104. Right, your target is 101, 104. Right, 101, 104. Let me use left chain. Let me use that left chain on src dot ecd equal to tgt dot ecd. Right, I'm seeing that 101, 104. Right, 101, 104 because I have done that overwrite operation. Right, we have done that overwrite operation. Let me take the 25th file. Let's see. These two records are null records. Right? These two records are null records. Means there is no change on Uday and Jaga. Right? There is no change Uday and Jaga. There is no change Uday and Jaga record. Right? There is no change. Right? But what is our requirement? Our requirement. Let me take the right chain. Right? Let me take the right chain. See? 101, 104. Right? 101, 104. Kiran and Suresh. Kiran and Suresh. If I'm including that where class, what is the where class? src dot ecd is null. Correct. Suresh record, there is no change, right? Suresh record, there is no change in my target location. Target location, there is no change. There is no change in my target location. Right. Percentage SQL, select star from SRC. Correct. If I'm combining source 3 records plus this target 1 record, now this is called upset rate. That if I'm combining this output and this output, these 4 records I'm consolidating, if I'm writing the data into my target location, now this is called your upset rate. Now this is called your upset. But how can I execute this logic, right? How can I execute this logic? How can I execute this logic? How can I execute this SQL query? On top of it, I want to create my data frame. Right? That option equal to spark.sql. We'll use the spark.sql method, all right, SQL method within the single quote, double quotes. You can write your SQL queries. If you want to create data frame on your SQL queries, right, we'll use the here data frame, right, no changes. Now I'm creating one data frame. Now I'm creating one data frame on your Spark SQL. Spark SQL query. Now this is my SQL query, right? Spark.sql. I'm executing one SQL query. I'm executing SQL query. Right now I'm creating one data frame. I'm creating one data frame. Now your df source is one data frame. df underscore no changes one data frame, right? df underscore no changes one data frame, right? Let me use the display option. Let me use the display option. df underscore no change. Right. 104 Suresh 5000. Right. Now this is my one data frame. df underscore src is one data frame. Right. I have the two data frames. df underscore src df underscore no changes, right? Let me use that union. Let me use that union df underscore final equivalent. We'll use that union operator. Right. We'll use that union operator. All right. If I'm using the df underscore final, if I'm using the df underscore final, right? Now I'm having that four records, right? Now I'm having that four records. If I'm using these four records, this data frame, right? If I'm executing my write operation, right? If I'm executing my write operation, right? df underscore final, right? df underscore final, my write operations, then I will not lose the no change of records, right? Now this df underscore file contains source feed plus no change from the your target data, right? Means no change means those records that there is no changes happen at source, right? From the source feed, I'm extracting new records plus changed records. Right? The df underscore file contains new feed plus changed feed plus no changes, right? No changes on your target data, right? Those records also I'm capturing. If I'm executing this logic, right? If I'm executing this logic, definitely I will not lose the data, right? Definitely I will not lose the data. Right. Let me remove all the unwanted codes. Right. So this is my final code, right? This is my final code. This is my final code. But here the problem, right? Here that problem. Here that problem, right? Very first time, right? Very first time, right? Very first time, you will not see the your target location, right? But how can I create this TGT? This DFT, this is a command to this DFTGT, right? This especially this DFTGT will be created, right? After your writing, right? After your writing only, I'm creating this DF underscore TGT. But this is wrong, right? With this, if I'm executing the fresh code, right? If I'm executing the fresh code, right? If I'm executing the fresh code, right? In the new session, the DF underscore TGT is not available, right? Definitely the process will fail. Definitely your process will fail. But very first time you don't have the target location. Very first time you don't have the target location. But how can I create my df underscore tgt? How can I create my df underscore tgt location? Very first time you will not see the your target file. But how can I create my target data frame? Right? How can I create my target data frame? How can I create my target data frame? Let me remove this target location time being. Okay. Let me remove db utils dot fs dot rm. Timing I'm deleting the my target location. db utils. That's true. Now I don't have the target. Very first time I don't have the target, right? Very first time I don't have the target. Let me execute. Right? Path does not exist. Right? Path does not. If the path is not available, you will not create your df underscore tgt, right? You will not create your dft underscore. But how can I create a very first time the df underscore tgt? Yeah, but how can I execute my right join logic, right? How can I execute my right join logic? If I want to execute this right join logic means this target should be available, right? This TGT should be available. But this TGT will be created, this TGT will be created. One thing have that folder, but very first execution, I don't have that folder, right? Very first execution, I don't have that folder. But right, how your process knows whether this first execution or second execution? All right, how your process knows your first execution, second execution. All right, db utils dot fs dot ls. Right. I'm executing. Now it's giving that exception, right? it is giving that exception, right? It is giving that exception. LTGT equal to some exception. Shall I include this code into the try except block? In case if I'm seeing that exception on my target location, right? Just I'm giving the target path is not target path is not exist, not exist. The target is path not exist. This is your initial load, right? This is your initial load. This is your okay. I'm seeing this message. I'm very much happy. But how can I create this DGT? Means very first time, if this target is not available, means can I create one empty data frame? Right? Can I create one only empty data frame? But how can I create one empty data frame? Right? How can I create an empty data frame? In the last class we discussed, right, with the help of the spark dot create data frame. Right? This is your empty data. This is your empty data. Schema equal to right. What is the data? ECD ename salary. So timing I'm giving that hard code ECD ename right df underscore tgt equal to okay. Let me create. Okay. Now this is let me go and use that schema information. Already is empty, right? Okay. Let me go and create one. What's the message I'm getting? List, right? Empty list. Cannot infer schema from empty data set. It's correct only. Now I have that empty data set. Now we have the data df underscore tgt, df underscore tgt. We have the data, right? Dot display, dot display. Now we have some empty record, right? We have some empty record in my target location, right? In my target location, we have some empty data, right? But this structure should be dynamic, right? This structure should be dynamic. Let me use the df underscore src dot schema. Okay. Now we have some data, right? Now we have some data ECD, ename, salary is available, right? ECD, right? ECD, some data is available in my target location, in my target location, right? In my target location. That here I will use and TGT, right? Where is the TGT dot employee code is not null. Let me use percentage scale. I have not created, I think. Right. That no results. Now I'm not seeing that any data, right? Now I'm not seeing that any data, right? Now I'm not seeing that any data, right? So very first time, if my target is not available, right? If very first time my target is not available, I can use this logic, right? I can use this logic. Only very first time, yes, I want to implement this logic. So timing, I'm giving that hard code. Timing, I'm not giving that hard code. Okay. Right. So this except block will execute very fast. Right. Except block will execute very fast. Right. Your except block execute very fast. If it's a second execution, right? If it's a second execution, I will use this logic, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. So this is only the second execution. This is only, sorry, this is second execution. This is your first execution. Target path is not execution. This is your initial load. This is your initial load. This is your initial load. Right. With the help of this logic, right? With the help of this logic, we can create your target location, right? With the help of this logic, we can create your target location. Right. Let me use the triple quotes because, all right. Now if I'm executing this logic, right? If I'm executing this logic, right? If I'm executing this 5 steps process, right? If I'm executing this 5 steps process, right? Very first time 25th file, right? Very first time 25th file, it will read the data, right? It will read the data. But let me remove. This is also not required. So here, right? Creating data frame. If was will create it from target path. Right. Now I will execute these two commands. I will execute these two commands. Now we can execute the target location. Now your target, right? Let me see the df underscore notch in this should return 0 records, right? Right? No records because so this is first step, right? This is first step. You don't have any data in your target. If I'm executing this final one, right? This final one, it should return only 3 records, right? I mean the source records, right? df underscore final display of no 3 records. So these are your source data. All right. Let me write the data to my target location. So very first time your source count equivalent to your target count, right? Your source count equivalent to your target count. All right. 3 records. Your source 3 records, right? Your source 3 records. The next load, right? The next load will change it to 26th, right? 26th file. Yeah, 26th file. Right. Let me execute 26th file. All right. Now here you will see the all right print not initial load. Right. Not initial load. But I want to see the in print message not initial load. Right. Not initial load. Right. I should see this print message here. Right. Not initial load. I'm not able to see the target path is not exist now means inside this try it's executed. Why I'm using the except? Because this process will fail when in case if the path is not available. In case if the path is not available, this process will fail. At the time I'm creating into the my empty data frame. Right, empty data frame. Now let me go and execute my target. Right. Let me execute my no changes. Right. All right. Let me see the data display of df underscore no changes. Right. 102, 103. There is no change on these two records. Right. There is no change on these two records. Right. df underscore final. Let me execute the df underscore final. Now your output should be, all right, your output should be df underscore. Let's see, 101, 102, 103, 104. All right. Uday Jega, there is no change, right? Only Kiran salary changed, Suresh is the new record, right? Now I'm able to see that four records, right? Now I'm able to see that four records. Let me write the data into my target location. Right. Let me see my target data. So this is my command 7 is my unit test cases, right? Just I want to see whether now I'm able to see the four records, right? 101, 103, 104. My delta records, right? Let me see my delta records. Right, 101, 104. All right, Kiran 19,000, 104 Suresh 50,000. These two records, there is no change. So this is called your upset. This is called your upset. Right. So this is your unit test cases. Okay. Just you want to perform the unit test cases. Command 7, command 8 not required to include in your code. Just during your development, right? During your development, post completion of your writing, right? Just you want to see the data is matching or not. So with the help of this logic, we can implement that upset. Any doubts? So this is for only single file. I am doing that hard code. So tomorrow we'll implement that upset logic dynamically. Dynamically means here I'm doing that hard code. We should not do the hard code, right? Because for example, I want to implement the upset logic for vendor. Again, the column names I should change, right? Again, column names I should change. We should not modify that code, right? I want to implement that upset logic for multiple source files into multiple targets, right? Just I want to change that my widgets, right? Only I want to change the widgets. The code should be dynamic, right? The code should be dynamic. If I'm execute the code, right? If you are feeding your input is vendor, right? That vendor upset logic should execute. EMP means EMP, product means product, X means X upset logic will execute. Right. Here currently I'm doing the hard code, but tomorrow we'll implement the dynamic code. How to get the primary key also from that input, how to generate your joint condition dynamically, how to implement your upset logic for each and every object. Right. We should not modify that code. The code should be dynamic. Clear, right? Any doubts? So this logic is clear, right? Why I'm creating the try except, right? So why I'm doing especially this logic, right? Why I'm consolidating, right? To implement that upset logic. Till command 1 to command 6 your code. The unit test cases only for your understanding I'm creating. Any doubts?
I will try and.
Okay, sure.
Sir, will you share that file, sir? Save
Yeah,
and send, sir.
yeah, I'm sharing. Others, any doubts? So this is very, very important. Okay. I mean, you can explain interview also, especially this process. We implemented the upset logic. You can explain this process in detail. Why are you using the try except block? Right? Why are you using the try except block? Right? Definitely, very first time this process will fail. That's why I'm creating the empty data frame. But tomorrow we'll do complete dynamic. Currently, I'm doing the hard code for each and every file. But tomorrow we'll create empty data frame dynamically. Right? We'll take that object from your widgets. Right? Your primary key is also from that widgets. But how to generate this logic dynamically? This entire joint condition or your SQL statement we'll discuss tomorrow. Yeah, if you don't have any doubts, we'll close that call. You have received that file, right? Okay. Both, right? Everything had given, right? Enter that folder had taken, right? Back, export. You will see all these things, right? Upset plus dynamic data loading. Right. Just import the .dbc file. Okay, I have shared enter the folder where I did export. Just import the .dbc. Let's see. Data. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll connect tomorrow. In case if you don't have any doubts, we'll close that call. We'll connect tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.